I bring all the news, another day is through. Someone slipped and fell. Was that someone you may have longed for and strength, your courage to reach. is near, thy wondrous works declare. Father, we come to thee again today, not only this morning, but we are coming to you the whole day, from early up to the evening, because we know that this day was specially set ever since the resurrection of the Lord Jesus Christ, that this day is thy day. And so we are thanking thee for the opportunity of the possible exposure of our body, souls, and spirits to the influence of thy word, however it is going to be presented to us today, whether it be in our personal devotions, or in our corporate worships, or in Sunday school, or in our family fellowships and our activities. And so we depend upon you, because you have promised your presence and power with us, and we believe in it today, especially this mid-morning worship service. In Jesus' name, amen. He saves, sing. He saves me from every sin and wrong. He cures my soul each day. imagine going to heaven and singing through eternity. Yan lang ata ang matira eh. Kasi dito sa mundo, hindi nalagay ang music na gift ng Holy Spirit. Basahin niyo Romans 12. Walang gift ng music na. Because music is reserved for the new heaven and the new earth. Kasi wala na fake note music. All of that will be godly music. Okay, let's read Titus 1, 1 to 8. Okay, let's just remain seated while we read this responsibly. Titus 1, 1 to 8. Isama na lang natin. Si Titus 1 o Titus 2? Titus 2. Sama na lang natin yung verse 10 to complete the passage. So it is 1 to 10. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false abusers, not given too much wine, teachers of good things. To be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. In all things showing thyself a pattern of good works, in doctrine showing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity. Together, exhort servants to be obedient unto their own masters, and to please them well in all things, not answering again, not purloining, but showing all good fidelity, that they may honor the doctrine of God, our Savior, in all things. Pagkain ng Pinoon, ang pagbasa ng kanyang salita. There is so much in the Bible concerning our talking. I'm sure that we have been blessed already by making a difference in our spiritual difference in our way of communicating. Will you hear the choir?
The only one who has the strength to save. have a very interesting topic this morning. That's why I didn't even place the title. Spiritual difference making in the workplace, power in our words in the context of a spiritual difference making. Let me start with a story. A student went to his teacher. He asked his teacher a question. Sir, is there any good in talking a lot? The teacher replied, toads and frogs croak night and day, but no one pays any attention to them. But the cock crows at a certain time of night and wakes up everyone. The teacher smiled at his student and said, this proves that no good is achieved by talking a lot. What is important is to say the right thing at the right time, at the right place. While waiting to say the right thing at the right time, at the right place, we keep our mouth shut. This is KMS, and this is our topic this morning. How to keep our mouth shut. That's how it is. The problem most of us have is not when to open our mouth, but when we should keep it shut. As they say, wise men are not always silent, but they know when to be silent. That's what we aim to be if we want to be effective spiritual difference makers. We're not always silent. There are times when we have to speak out, but we know when to keep silent. This is our lesson this morning, how to keep our mouth shut. The biblical admonitions on keeping our mouth shut. Ecclesiastes 3, verses 7 to 8, for example. A time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. So there are moments of quiet that we have to do and we have to accomplish. A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. That's a biblical admonition to be quiet at certain times, to keep our mouth shut. Proverbs 29:20. Seest thou a man that is hasty in his words, who keeps opening his mouth? There's more hope of a fool than of him. Proverbs 29:20. And being silent and keeping our mouth shut. Proverbs 17:27. He that hath knowledge spareth his words, but a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. Proverbs 17:27. To be quiet, let our words be few. So we're quiet, we're silent. Just read the words because that's our topic this morning. Keep our mouth shut. Tinutuunan ni Badong, sabi ko, topic natin silence Mayor. Okay na lang siguro. Wala. Okay na lang. So the next question is, why the biblical admonition on keeping our mouth shut? As the caricature would say, it pays to keep your mouth shut sometimes. If you open it too much, you'll get hooked up. 3 reasons why you should keep our mouth shut. First reason, because of our relationships. As we review, for example, our framework for spiritual difference making in the workplace, it starts with trying to develop relationships and then talking about it. Here in relationships, the foundation of spiritual difference making is to develop relationship. And whatever we say or whatever we don't say, it will have an impact on the relationship we're trying to develop. When we hold our tongue in check, we ensure the words we eventually speak are constructive. When we are not too hasty in our words, then we can think about the words before we utter them. And most oftentimes, because of considering the words before we even utter, these words become constructive and we withhold some of these that are destructive. So keeping your mouth shut would help in the maintenance or even in the development of our relationships. Proverbs 21:23 supports this. Whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles. Keeping our mouth shut until we can select the right words and the right tone reduces regret on our part and resistance by the other parties. As Mark Twain would say, never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience. At times, we do more damage when we speak, even if we are right and even if we are just defending ourselves. At times, the very best thing we can do is to hold our tongue and even ignore the insults. Talk may be cheap, as they say, but we cannot buy that talk back. The second reason why we should keep our mouth shut is in spiritual difference making. We need focus. We should not be distracted. We should not be derailed in our purpose. Our silence, our keeping our mouth shut, make a big statement of staying focused on what really matters. What are some of the factors, for example, why we don't keep our mouth shut? One, pride, minsan. We want to show, we want to demonstrate that we have superior wisdom. So we talk and talk and talk and never keep our mouth shut. Desire for approval by agreeing, even if we don't totally agree with the other people. We just want to talk and participate. Curiosity for facts. We want to dig in, to dig deeper into what people are saying. Listen to this. A farmer discovered that he had lost his watch in the barn. It was no ordinary watch because it had sentimental value for him. He searched high and low among the hay. After a long while, he gave up and enlisted the help of a group of children playing outside the barn. He promised them that the person who found it would be rewarded. Hearing this, the children hurried inside the barn, went through and around the entire stack of hay, but still could not find the watch. Just when the farmer was about to give up looking for his watch, a little boy went up to him and asked to be given another chance. The farmer looked at him and thought, why not? After all, this kid looks sincere enough. So the farmer sent the little boy back in the barn. After a while, the little boy came out with the watch in his hand. The farmer was both happy and surprised. He asked the boy how he succeeded where the rest had failed. The boy replied, I did nothing but sit on the ground and listen. In the silence, I heard the ticking of the watch and just looked for it in that direction. Our lesson, keeping our mouth shut can bring about a peaceful mind. A peaceful mind, in turn, allows us to think better than a work-up mind. Indeed, it pays to keep oneself focused. Proverbs 15:28 gives us the backing for this second reason of why we should keep our mouth shut as we become spiritual difference makers. The heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things. Ang keyword natin dito, studies. Go deeply. Try to digest your words even before you utter them. Saying less would have been more. A study has been conducted in marketing. And most often, a transaction that's about to be finished gets turned off or does not continue because the sales agent talks a lot. He describes one more product feature even after the customer's facial expression indicates that he has already decided to buy. But with the mention of that new additional feature, it triggers an objection from the customer had never considered, and that therefore the sale is continued. That's the disadvantage of talking too much. You let the other people lose their focus. As they say, resist majoring on the minors because minors overshadow the majors. Do not comment on details or rumors that add no value. Keep your focus on your spiritual difference, making efforts. That's the reason why you should keep your mouth shut when you don't need to open it. The third reason is we should keep our mouth shut because it helps in our credibility as spiritual difference makers. Speaking up too quickly can put your credibility at risk. Ecclesiastes 9:17 advises us, the words of wise men are heard in quiet, more than the cry of him that ruleth among fools. I like this quotation on credibility, and I think we should apply this more often. It's better to keep your mouth shut and appear stupid than to open it and remove all doubt that you're stupid. Give them the benefit of the doubt. That's what it means. Proverbs 17:28 affirms this. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise. Okay? And he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. Don't spoil, don't destroy your credibility as a witness by talking too much. Oftentimes it helps when you keep your mouth shut. At least you give the people the benefit of the doubt. Meron na. The next question is, when do we keep our mouth shut? Oh, very interesting question. And we try to categorize the times when to keep our mouth shut by these three reasons why we should keep our mouth shut. So we categorize them into the way they have impact on our relationships, the way they have impact on focus, and credibility. Let's start with relationships. When do we have to shut up? Because they have an impact on relationships. Keep your mouth shut when in the heat of anger. Okay, that's the first instance where you have to keep your mouth shut when you are very angry. Almost anything that we say while we are angry will only make matters worse. Proverbs 29:11 says, "A fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards." So don't open your mouth when you are angry. Proverbs 10:19, another admonition. "In the multitude of words there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise." Psychologists say that when adults are mad or angry, they act, think, and reason according to the level of a 6-year-old. That's what we should remember. When we are angry and start talking, then we are talking like a 6-year-old, even if you are 70 or 60 or 50. In the heat of anger, keep your mouth shut because you're like a 6-year-old. Proverbs 14:17 states, "He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly, and a man of wicked devices is hated." Another admonition, Proverbs 29:22, "An angry man stirreth up strife, and a furious man aboundeth in transgression." Proverbs 14:17, we have said that already. "He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly like a 6-year-old, and a man of wicked devices is hated." The second instance when we should keep our mouth shut is this: when our words will offend others. So keep your mouth shut because opening it will offend others. Proverbs 17:27, "He that hath knowledge spareth his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit." An old man spread rumors that his neighbor was a thief. As a result, the young man was arrested. Days later, the young man was proven innocent. After he has been released, he sued the old man for wrongly accusing him. In the court, the old man told the judge they were just comments, didn't harm anyone. The judge, before passing the sentence on the case, told the old man, "Write all the things you said about him on a piece of paper. Cut them up, and on the way home, throw the pieces of paper out. Tomorrow, come back to hear the sentence." The next day, the judge told the old man, "Before receiving the sentence, you'll have to go out and gather all the pieces of paper that you threw out yesterday." The old man said, "I can't do that. The wind spread them, and I won't know where to find them." The judge then replied, "The same way, simple comments may destroy the honor of a man to such an extent that one is not able to fix it. If you can speak well of someone, rather than say anything, because otherwise you lose control of it." Our lesson: let us all be masters of our mouths, opening it and closing it when needed, so that we won't be slaves of our words. We keep our mouth shut and maintain our relationships or strengthen them if our words would convey a wrong impression. Or we keep them shut when we are tempted to tell an outright lie. Then keep your mouth shut. Proverbs 26:18-19, "As a madman who casteth firebrands, arrows, and death, so is the man that deceiveth his neighbor and saith, Am not I in sport. When tempted to tell an outright lie, keep your mouth shut because it will have an impact on your relationships if you open your mouth. If your words will damage someone's reputation, then keep your mouth shut. Proverbs 16:27, an ungodly man diggeth up evil, and in his lips there is as a burning fire. You keep your mouth shut if your words would destroy a friendship. Friendship among others, members, or friendship of yours and the others. Proverbs 16:28, a froward man soweth strife, and a whisperer separateth chief friends. We keep our mouth shut to preserve, to strengthen, to maintain relationships when our comments would rekindle old issues that were dying down. Proverbs 26, verses 20 to 21, for lack of wood the fire goes out, and where there's no whisperer, quarreling ceases. As charcoal to hot embers and wood to fire, so is a quarrelsome man for kindling strife. Keep your mouth shut when your comments would rekindle old issues. You keep your mouth shut when you feel very critical. James 3:10, from the same mouth come blessing and cursing. My brothers, these things ought not to be so. Before we criticize someone, we ask ourselves, what have we personally done to help them or teach them to act differently? If the answer is nothing, then keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut if you can speak without yelling or shouting. Then zipper that mouth. James 1:19-20, know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. For the anger of man does not produce the righteousness that God requires. So when you feel like shouting, don't blur out those words. Keep your mouth shut. Let's go to the other category that we have to maintain our silence, keep our mouth shut under the category of being focused in our spiritual difference making. We keep our mouth shut when the issue is none of our business. Because if it's none of our business, then it will totally distract us from our focus. The old saying is that he who fights another man's battles is like one who tries to put a ring in a pig's nose. It's impossible, and even if it's possible, you get muddied in the process. There are some things that we should not talk about because we don't know all of the details. And it's none of our business to know all the details. So we keep our mouth shut. By doing that, we do not lose our focus. Proverbs 26:17 advises us on this. He that passeth by and meddleth with strife, belonging not to him, is like one that taketh a dog by the ears. What happens? You get bitten by the dog because it's none of your business to be involved. We keep our mouth shut when it's time to listen. Don't be like the person who asks the questions and then doesn't wait for the answer. So when it's time to listen, keep your mouth shut because it will help you focus on more important things. Proverbs 19:20-21 tells us about this focus. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. There are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord that shall stand. Proverbs 19:20-21. With regards to our focus in our spiritual difference making, let's keep our mouth shut when it's time to listen. So again, back to our framework for spiritual difference making. It's not talk and talk and talk. There's time to listen, to keep the mouth shut. You keep our mouth shut when it's already mentioned more than once. There's a term for this, especially applicable to women. when you already mention more than once. That's NAG, nagging and nagging. Of course, we should understand that because we learned from the Sunday school, di ba? That women have allocation of 20,000 words a day, whereas men have only 10,000 words a day. So you see the difference. Even at the end of the day, the woman has still 15,000 words at spare. So Proverbs 19:13, a foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. Siguro this applies more to the wives. Keeping their mouth shut when it's already mentioned more than once. We look into the category of credibility. Talking too much may have an impact on our spiritual difference making, especially in the area of credibility. And let's cite some instances where this is affected. Meron na. Credibility. With regards to credibility, we keep our mouth shut when you do not have all the facts. And the reason behind this is very clear. If you don't have all the facts, it will have an impact on how credible you are as a witness. While our time is a time of instant coffee, everything instant, we would do good to not respond instantly to situations and accusations, and to think through things and pray about them before we answer. If we don't have all the facts, keep your mouth shut. Proverbs 18:13 tells us, he that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it's folly, it's foolishness, and shame unto him. We keep our mouth shut and maintain our credibility when we have not verified the story. Deuteronomy 17:6, at the mouth of two witnesses or three witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death, but at the mouth of one witness he shall not be put to death. So if we have not verified the story, keep your mouth shut. Don't add fire to the firewood. We tend to be quick to believe a negative report and skeptical of positive ones. Keep your mouth shut if you would be ashamed of your words later, because you may have to eat them later. Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. You eat your own words. So if you are ashamed of your own words, you eat your own shame. We keep our credibility by keeping our mouth shut if our word will be a reflection of our Lord. 1 Peter 2:21-23 says, for even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example, that you should follow his steps, who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. Keep your mouth shut and maintain your credibility when you are tempted to make light of holy things. You have just spoiled your spiritual difference-making witness if you make light of holy things. Ecclesiastes 5:2, be not rash with the mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before God. For God is in heaven, and thou upon earth, therefore, let thy words be few. Kaya inulit-ulit natin yung let thy words be few na song. Keep your mouth shut when you are tempted to joke about sin and repentance. They are not joking matter, they are very serious. That's the foundation, that's the basic tenet of our spiritual difference-making efforts. Keep your mouth shut when you are tempted even to take these things lightly. Proverbs 14:9, fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there is favor. Keep your mouth shut and maintain your credibility when you are tempted to flatter a wicked person, because this definitely will have an impact on your credibility as a follower of Christ when you flatter a wicked person. Proverbs 24:24, he that saith unto the wicked, thou art righteous, him shall the people curse, nations shall abhor him. Now, given all these discussions that we have said, it's but proper for us to put this keeping mouth shut challenge into proper perspective in the light of our Christian living, in the light of our responsibility as spiritual difference makers. And we have to remember two principles or two truths with regards to this KMS, keeping our mouth shut. The first is the control of the tongue is the first step to controlling our body. The second is the tongue of the righteous is choice silver. Learning to control the tongue is the first step for controlling the body. James 1:26 tells us, if any among you seem to be religious and bridle not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain. The word for religion in this verse literally means worship in the Greek original. If a person worships God and yields to the presence of God completely, but still cannot control his tongue, actually turning people off to the power of God. James tells us that if we are able to control the tongue, then the body will follow suit. Knowing to control the tongue, the first step in controlling the body, and knowing to control the tongue, its first step is knowing when to keep your mouth shut. As they say, no talk, no mistake. Less talk, less mistake. Proverbs 10:19 says, in the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin. But he that refraineth his lips is wise. An admonition to keep our mouth shut. A frog was wondering how he could get away from the cold winter climate. Some wild geese suggested that he migrate with them. The problem, though, was that the frog could not fly. Just leave it to me, said the frog. I've got a splendid brain. He thought about it and then asked two geese to help him by picking up a strong reed, each holding one end. The frog planned to hold onto the reed with his mouth. In due time, the geese and the frog started on their journey. Soon they were passing over a small town, and the villagers came out to see the unusual sight. Someone cried out, "Who could have come up with such a clever idea?" This made the frog so puffed up with a sense of importance that he exclaimed, "I did it." The moment he opened his mouth, he lost his hold and fell to his death. Proverbs 13:3 says, "He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction." So remember, KMS, keep your mouth shut. The second truth, the second principle is the objective of our speech, that it should be like choice silver. Proverbs 10:20 says, "The tongue of the just is as choice silver. The heart of the wicked is little worth." Our speech is likened to precious metals such as silver. For the Christian, his speech is to be choice silver. Choice silver is silver that has been through the melting down process many times over. Because of its high purity, it's worth much more than just ordinary ore and drop. When silver is melted, the impurities rise to the top and can be skimmed off. However, not all of the impurities can be removed at one time. The metal is melted, the obvious impurities removed, then it's melted down again, and new impurities pop up. The more times that silver is refined, the more pure it is, the more it is worth. Our challenge in keeping our mouth shut, we must continually work on controlling our tongue, because it's God's will for our speech to become purer and purer until it's like choice silver. We should be able to be identified as Christians by our manner of speech, including keeping our mouth shut and the choice of our words. We should remember the things we say tell just as much about us as they do about what or whom we are speaking. We must therefore learn when to open our mouth or to keep it shut. The process may be difficult. It may take long. It may be bumpy along the way. There will be difficulties. But we have to do it if we aim to be choice silver for the Master. Let me end with this quotation. Keeping the mouth shut is the virtue of those who are not wise. Is the wisdom and gets amen, friends. Keeping your mouth shut is wisdom when speaking is folly. Thank you and God bless.